Hello, good morning. Welcome to Joy News Desk, coming to you from our studios in Kokomlimni. And coming up this morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Joy News Desk, coming to you from our studios in Kokomlimni. And coming up this morning, Parliament passes law to criminalise accusation of witchcraft practice of witch finders and witch doctors. We'll tell you how it all came to be from Parliament. Wejagbawi GES directs supervisors and invigilators of the upcoming Basic Education Certificate Examination to thoroughly search all candidates, including their private parts, before they are allowed to enter. We have more coming up this morning. An ECG clamps down on Togo meters illegally installed in some communities in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region. How did the customers come by these meters, and for how long have they been using them? The ECG will tell us more. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do stay for details. Another person as a witch in Ghana. The amendment, which was approved on Thursday, also prohibits any person from practicing as a witch doctor or witch finder. Speaker Alban Bagbin, who announced that the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 had been read for the third time and passed, explained that it had amended the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29 to prohibit the practice by any person as a witch doctor or a witch finder to prescribe the declaration, accusation, naming or labeling of another person as a witch and for related matters. Here's a recap of how it all went down in Parliament yesterday.
Yes, I move that the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 be now read the third time. I so move.
Seconder.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Motion for the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill to be read the third time. Moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable members.
An act to amend the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, to prohibit the practice by any person as a witch doctor or a witch finder to prescribe the declaration, accusation, naming or labeling of another person as a witch and for related matters.
Honourable members, Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 is read the third time and passed.
I cannot hide my joy now. So the reason is that for all the 539 persons who are locked up in witch camps across the country, they are looking forward to us to take some decisive step to dealing with this situation. This problem has lived with us for over 100 years. We've been struggling as to how to deal with it. And to the extent that this 8th Parliament has found it needful to pass this bill into law, for me, it's definitely going to bring about a very serious mind shift. It's going to correct a lot of ills in our society. And I am confident that we are just building a better society for ourselves. Well, the law simply says that henceforth nobody can practice as a witch doctor or a witch finder. And it will be also unlawful to accuse another person of witchcraft. And if you are a community leader who supervises either the labeling of another person as a witch, or beating of the person, or lynching the person, as we have always been seeing, all of you will be in breach of this law.
We urge the President, knowing and gaining from our human rights records and performance globally so far, this is another opportunity for us to up our ranking in human rights, and I do believe that His Excellency, for us to up our ranking in human rights, and I do believe that His Excellency the President is very concerned about our human rights, and I do believe that His Excellency the President is very concerned about our human rights. And let me be clear that we are not.
High Court, they accused the government of unfair treatment and have threatened not to return until all concerns are addressed. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam said that suspension of these cases.
Clear that we are not.
High Court, they accused the government of unfair treatment and have threatened not to return until all concerns are addressed. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam said that suspension of these cases. News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam said that suspension of these cases will have a negative impact on justice delivery in the region. Rafiq Salam said that suspension of these cases will have a negative impact on justice delivery in the region.
Only applied, but has been ignored.
Attendance and Upper West region. So we think that we are undermined, and we think that this should get to the authorities for the unfair treatment.
The jury on Wednesday were supposed to sit on a medical case, but they truncated the process, apologized to the court, instead they walk out.
We attended all right, but we made it clear that we are not disrespecting the High Court, we are not disrespecting the lawyers present, and we are not disrespecting the people in the courtroom. So we apologize for our actions that we are going to take, but that we have to lay down our truth until our concerns are met.
For now, cases of murder, manslaughter, and rape are now on sine die. The jury members are saying that they will not sit unless these monies are paid to them. They cannot give definite sum of the money owed them by the Judicial Service of Ghana. Now, cases of murder, manslaughter, and rape are now on sine die. The jury members are saying that they will not sit unless these monies are paid to them. They cannot give definite sum of the money owed them by the Judicial Service of Ghana.
These include Agbogbome, Kologa, Gakli, among others. The customers using the setsogometers have since been disconnected. The clampdown is part of the Operation Zero exercise being embarked on by the ECG. But the question remains how this get into the system and for how long of ECG. He joins us shortly. So, Benjamin, how many of these meters have been seized?
All our cherished customers. Since our Operation Zero exercise began on 11th of this month, this Monday, our team visited the Dino district. So since Monday to yesterday, we have been at the Dino district, and so far, over 200 of such customers have been identified. And as we've been disconnected, and we've given them 48 hours to report to our district office in Dino for their supply to be regularized as well.
So any idea of how long they have been using these meters and how they came by those meters?
Una de las especies más peculiares del mundo latino es el Padreus protectorus, que vive colgado encima de sus hijos como un koala.
Vamos contigo por si le pasa algo a tu auto.
Mamá, voy a estar bien.
Pero este instinto sobreprotector se está extinguiendo, porque State Farm está ahí las 24 horas si los necesitas. Así que los padres finalmente están soltando a sus hijos a la naturaleza.
¡Nos mandas fotos!
Como un buen vecino, State Farm está ahí. Llama para obtener una cotización hoy. Back-to-school doorbusters are in session all weekend at JCPenney. Jeans for teens from Arizona Jean Company are buy one, get one free. And for kids, Thereabouts jeans are only $14.99. Don't forget Dorm. Home Expressions Down Alternative Reversible Comforters are just $24.99. Or use your coupon and save an extra 25% across the store. Multiple choices, maximum style. JCPenney. Offers valid on select styles through 7/30. Exclusions apply. Doorbusters excluded from coupon. See store or jcp.com for details.
Okay, thank you very much, these customers. And most of them, what they were saying when they obtained the meters Togo has become quite simple for them. So they said they obtained these meters from Togo. And then when we asked them an operation within the same enclave around Aflao, Bit9, Viapetoko, where these meters were rampant over there, together with the national security, the military, and then the police, were able to retrieve over 1,000 of such meters and then search out the customers to pay. Somewhere last year as well, the national security, together with the border patrol team, intercepted about 192 of such meters heading towards Kumasi. So
right. So you have
practice with the help of this in trying to solve the issue. So today, or should I say this week, as part of our operations exercise, because these customers are not in our system, we are unable to identify them. So they have been consuming their power illegally. So once we decided to do house-to-house sweeping, when we got to that community, as I think from Gakri, Kologa, Wudoba, then we identified these meters. So some of them have been in existence for 6 months, others a year, others more than a year as we speak.
So what next for you after the disconnection?
Okay, so what next for us is that, as part of the Operation Zero exercise, we are doing what we call regularization, such that when we chance upon these meters, we disconnect and we'll give you a 48-hour ultimatum to visit our ACG office. So customers who have visited our ACG office, what we have done is that we have regularized their supply. That's 1. 2, we've taken consumption, we've taken note of the consumption of the meter, which we are going to bill them for them to pay the power. Then again, the meter is not going back into the system. So we are going to give them a bill to apply for a new service overall. Some of them need 1 pole, others need 2 poles. So they'll be paying for that service. Because the issue over there, if you look at the network very well, you could see that the poles over there are quite thin, very lean. These poles are more like a time bomb waiting to happen. Should there be any heavy rainfall in the area, the poles are likely to come down. And we experienced a similar issue, which led clamp down on them.
How long are they going to stay in the dark to get their problems fixed? And don't you think all of this is because the ECG delays so much when people apply for meters and some of these things?
Well, Aisha, these communities in question, somewhere last year, we completed a project worth 2 million Ghana cedis to send power supply to there with poles, transformer, and all that. So these communities are people that we've been taking care of. In our district, when it comes to applying for meters, most customers who apply when they get their service connection on time. So the customers who have been disconnected now, most of them who visited the office, once we've taken their, because there are some customers that when you tell them visit the office, they don't visit. But most customers who have visited the office, like I said, we did a 48-hour ultimatum. We've taken down their details, taken down their location, their Ghana card details, and all that. Some of them are starting making payments. So we've even gone back to reconnect them. Others have been given the flat rate. So once we see that you are closer to the nearest, we will connect to you directly, we'll give you a flat rate to be paid. That one is much safer than these illegal meters that they are using. So with our community, if you look at the projects we've done for them, the number of meters we've sent, even last year, like I said, when we started clamping down on such meters within Aflao, Bitnai, Viepe, Topo, and all those areas, we even sent meters. So customers who came to apply for meters, that same day we were connecting them. So with these customers, they do not have that challenge of, let's say, they visit the ECG office and then they couldn't get meters or anything.
Benjamin, so are you able to actually put a cost to these illegal connections?
Well, if you look at someone consuming power for more than a year and not pay, it's quite huge, because if you take into consideration the recent tariff adjustments and all that within the last 2 quarters, all these things will. But even if you look at it in terms of the service connection that they are going to pay, others might even be paying 1 pole extension, another 2 poles. So, like Riley said, it's a source of one of our losses. But like this exercise, that is why we're embarking on this exercise, to clamp down on this exercise. Because with Operation Zero, everybody consuming power, whether you're in our system or not, you are supposed to pay for electricity bill. So these people, some of the customers, I even forgot to add this, some of the customers that we visited over there, those who had their details, like Ghana card, that we regularized it instantly on the field. We gave them a bill and a notification was sent to their phone and they made payment instantly. That same day, a meter was sent to that place to regularize the supply for them. So not most of them are in the darkness. Like you said, within the 48 hours, once we visit our office, we're able to regularize the supply for you.
I'm grateful for your time. Benjamin Obing is the Public Relations Officer of the Volta Region ECG office. Meanwhile, reports from the Ghana Medical Association is indicating
Back to school doorbusters are in session all weekend at JCPenney. Jeans for teens from Arizona Jean Company are buy one, get one free. And for kids, Thereabouts jeans are only $14.99. Don't forget Dorm. Home Expressions Down Alternative Reversible Comforters are just $24.99. Or use your coupon and save an extra 25% across the store. Multiple choices, maximum style. JCPenney. Offers valid on select styles through 7/30. Exclusions apply. Doorbusters excluded from coupons. See store or jcp.com for details.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. RE, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion.
Hi!
Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like Ari. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Clamp down on them.
How long are they going to stay in the dark to get their problems fixed? And don't you think all of this is because the ECG delays so much when people apply for meters and some of these things?
Well, Aisha, these communities in question, somewhere last year, we completed a project worth 2 million Ghana cedis to send power supply to there with poles, transformer, and all that. So these communities are people that we've been taking care of. In our district, when it comes to applying for meters, most customers who apply when they get their service connection on time. So the customers who have been disconnected now, most of them who visited the office, once we've taken their, because there are some customers that when until they visit the office, they don't visit. But most customers who have visited the office, like I said, we did a 48-hour ultimatum. We've taken down their details, taken down their location, their Ghana card details, and all that. Some of them are starting making payments. So we've even gone back to reconnect them. Others have been given the flat rate. So once we see that you are closer to the nearest, we will connect to you directly, we'll give you a flat rate to be paid. That one is much safer than these illegal meters that they are using. So with our community, if you look at the projects we've done for them, the number of meters we've sent, even last year, like I said, when we started clamping down on such meters within Aflao, Bitnai, Viepe, Topo, and all those areas, we even sent meters. So customers who came to apply for meters, that same day we were connecting them. So with these customers,
Back to school doorbusters are in session all weekend at JCPenney. Jeans for teens from Arizona Jean Company are buy one, get one free. And for kids, thereabouts jeans are only $14.99. Don't forget Dorm. Home Expressions Down Alternative Reversible Comforters are just $24.99. Or use your coupon and save an extra 25% across the store. Multiple choices, maximum style. JCPenney. Offers valid on select styles through 7/30. Exclusions apply. Doorbusters excluded from coupons. See store or jcp.com for details.
in their Ghana card details and all that. Some of them are starting making payments. So we've even gone back to reconnect them. Others have been given the flat rate. So once we see that you are closer to the nearest, we will connect to you directly. We'll give you a flat rate to be paid. That one is much safer than these illegal meters that they are using. So with our community, if you look at the projects we've done for them, the number of meters we've sent, even last year, like I said, when we started clamping down on such meters within Aflao, Bitnai, Viepe, Topo, and all those areas, we even sent meters. So customers who came to apply for meters, that same day we were connecting them. So with these customers, they do not have that challenge of, let's say, they visit the ECG office and then they couldn't get meters or anything.
Benjamin, so are you able to actually put a cost to these illegal connections?
Well, if you look at someone consuming power for more than a year and not pay, it's quite huge, because if you take into consideration the recent tariff adjustments and all that within the last 2 quarters, all these things will. But even if you look at it in terms of the service connection that they are going to pay, others might even be paying 1 pole extension, another 2 poles. So, like Riley said, it's a source of one of our losses. But like this exercise, that is why we're embarking on this exercise, to clamp down on this exercise. Because with Operation Zero, everybody consuming power, whether you're in our system or not, you are supposed to pay for electricity bill. So these people, some of the customers, I even forgot to add this, some of the customers that we visited over there, those who had their details, like Ghana card, that we regularized it instantly on the field. We gave them a bill and then a notification was sent to their phone and they made payment instantly. That same day, a meter was sent to that place to regularize the supply for them. So not most of them are in the darkness. Like you said, within the 48 hours, once we visit our office, we're able to regularize the supply for you.
I'm grateful for your time. Benjamin Obing is the Public Relations Officer of the Volta Region ECG office. Meanwhile, reports from the Ghana Medical Association is indicating that breast, liver, cervical cancers have become the leading forms of cancers across Ghana. To find that breast, liver, cervical cancers have become the leading forms of cancers across Ghana. To find 7th annual public lecture for the way forward, we can cross over to Mervyn Pick, Ambassador Hotel now, for the keynote address of the lecture by Professor Benedict Kali.
Her family was prepared to pay for 1 cycle. The bank was prepared to support for 1 cycle. But this happened at the time that the Minister of Health decided to make accepting free for most of the patients who need it in Ghana. 7 years down the line, she's still alive and she's seeing her kids growing. I think the purpose of the conversation today is to look at this type of example and see what might we do so that more this lady exists in Ghana and beyond. And that's one of the commitments that I keep giving to every stakeholder that I meet. We will do everything we can do so that we have more examples like this one. Not just to talk about, but also to ensure that we can learn from what's happened here. How did we manage to discuss with the medical community? How did we manage to discuss with the Minister of Health? How did we manage to discuss with the NHI to find this type of solution? To this point, this week alone, with the team in Ghana, our Roche team, I'm very proud of what you are doing. I met with Dr. Bernard, our joint partnership, to make this type of thing happen. I'm delighted to tell you that NHI and Roche committed to strengthen our partnership by further collaborating so that more people can benefit of this type of situation. I'm totally conscious that we alone cannot do it, and we can benefit of this type of situation. I'm totally conscious that we alone cannot do it, and we are the one that the clinical oncologists from Kumasi share with me happen. Expanding access to our medicine in Ghana and beyond is central to what's the goal.
Or labeling of another person as a witch in Ghana. I've been joined by Lamnatu Adam. She's Executive Director of Songtaba. Songtaba is an NGO that advocates that persons are not labeled as witches, and they also care for the vulnerable in society. I'm grateful for your time, Lamnatu. This certainly must come as a relief to you. Kindly unmute for me.
Sorry, Aisha, I think that we are so excited with this progress that has been made. For me, I think that Parliament did well. Honorable Francis Sosu and the team did well, and our entire Parliament. I mean, we are so happy. We are glad that this has been passed. We are hoping that the President soon assents the signature, and then it makes a law.
Let's look at the danger associated with all of these, labeling people as witchcraft, people just for the sake of something, an act or conduct of someone, just saying that this person treating them in society. The last one we saw was the case of Dente. In those cases, you even lose a life. How dangerous is it in our society?
Indeed, as you mentioned, the Madam Ekwe Dente's case adds up to a lot of issues, a lot of other cases that we had here. It's very dangerous. You know, our attitude towards mob injustice is serious. Whether it's about witchcraft, whether it's about theft or any other thing, the moment people just say, this is a witch, this is a thief, you know, people do not even ask what she has done or what the person has stolen. We just pounce on the person. And so for me, I think that this is a great step, you know, to let people to stop labeling, naming, and denouncing pronouncing people as witches. It's serious. If you look within our context, where belief in witchcraft is so deep-seated, the moment somebody says, look, I saw you in a dream, you are attacking me, that alone is enough to either let you be banished, that is if you are even healthy with being banished, or even completely being lynched, or your property being, you know, destroyed. So it serializes it. It is great for us.
Well, criminalizing it is a great, massive progress in achieving what we've been looking for all this while. But again, how do we educate our people, especially from the north, to understand some of these things?
Yes, I understand that criminalizing is one step, but we need to do more about educating people on what it entails, because this is something that has come to be with us within our context. And so we need to do a lot of education, we need to do a lot of sensitization with youth groups, with communities, with traditional authorities, and even with priests and all the religious groups, because we see on TVs pastors, imams proclaiming others as witches or as being people responsible for, you know, some other group. I mean, we need to target all of these individuals and groups for them to understand what this bill means, so that people are not taken by surprise. Just like you have said, it is enough. It is okay to pass the bill, but if people do not understand it, then we may not make progress. And I think that we need that concerted effort by all for us to do this work. But again, we need to work towards reintegrating even those who are already at the camp, because by this bill, it means that those camps have become illegal anyway.
Yep, definitely. I was just going to that. Whether all the witch camps have been closed. I mean, with the passage of this law, those witch camps must not be in existence. And again, we are coming back to our communities, how they will be able to embrace these people, because definitely they need to be reintegrated into our societies. How does your unit intend to push this? I know you've been doing some work already.
Yes, sure. Sontaba is doing so well. And then luckily, we have the Coalition Against Witchcraft Accusation, which are all joining forces towards this fight. And I think that the call now is for us to see how we could get resources to reintegrate, the gradual reintegration of these women back home. Reintegration is possible. Reintegration can be done. It has to be done with caution. We have always said it, but it also needs resources. And for us to work with communities, especially the home communities where these women are going to be reintegrated, whilst we also do so much work in our communities to halt the inflow of new inmates into the camps. So it needs a concerted effort. It needs the media. It needs government partners, everybody to come on board, because it's a huge project that needs to be done.
I'm grateful for your time, Lamna to Adam, and congratulations for the good work you're doing. Keep up the good work. Let's get on to other stories. And the Ghana Education Service has directed supervisors and invigilators of the upcoming Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, to thoroughly search all candidates, including their private parts, before they are allowed to enter the examination hall. The candidates are also to be disallowed from wearing socks to the examination hall. A directive issued and signed by the Wage Agbawi, Director of Education, said it is part of measures to ensure free, fair and transparent conduct of the examinations. Extracts of the statement is on your screen. I will share with you. And it says that as part of the Education Directorate's efforts to ensure free, fair and transparent conduct of 2020, all head teachers of public and private rules and regulations governing the conduct of this year's BC in Wage Agbawi municipality. The candidates are to come to the examination center with only flat open sandals without socks. Candidates must be seated in the examination hall 30 minutes before time. Candidates who arrive after the supervisor has given order to start work will be deemed to have arrived late and not permitted to write the paper. Supervisors and invigilators are authorized to thoroughly search all candidates, including their private parts, before they are allowed to enter the examination hall. They are also permitted to search candidates wearing head coverings, including veils. Candidates are advised to ensure that no foreign materials are under their desk, since they will be held liable if found. Candidates are advised to use only index numbers provided by WAEC, and candidates whose examination results have been cancelled for resulting to dishonest means may be refused re-entry to future examinations. Candidates should not come to the examination hall with mobile phones, earphones, wristwatch or any electronic devices, and candidates are allowed to use only transparent blue pens. All head teachers and unauthorized persons will not be allowed within the premises of the examination centers. According to WAEC Law Act 719/2006, it is a criminal offense punishable by law to engage in any form of examination malpractice. And it says all head teachers of both public and private schools, proprietors and directors of schools are, by this letter, to ensure that all their candidates are educated on the above directives to ensure a smooth, transparent and uneventful examination. And it is signed by Charles Odum. He's the Director of Education at the Wage Agbawi. with the interview. On to other story, the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono has made some key pronouncements on major cases currently pending in the court. The first is one involving Asin North MP, James Jacho Quayson. Mr. Quayson had wanted the Apex Court to put his criminal trial on hold and compel the Attorney General to furnish him with some documents he alleges had been denied him. Not only did the court turn down his request, it went a step further to comment on his conduct when he initiated processes at the highest court of the land. The Chief Justice herself pointed that he fails to show up and turns to call his lawyers to swear to documents on his behalf, a conduct she considers irregular. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable has more.
Mr. Quayson was seeking to halt his trial, arguing that the High Court got it wrong when it refused the request for prosecutors to be compelled to provide certain documents they had failed to disclose. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame had told the court his office had supplied all documents to the legislator. He pointed the court to correspondence between his office and the MP's legal team, showing that documents in their possession had been examined. Lawyers for Mr. Quayson, however, disagreed. They insisted the Attorney General cannot refer to those correspondence since they had not even filed an appropriate response. The High Court disagreed with this view, causing the MP's legal team to head to the Supreme Court. Mr. Quayson's lawyer, Justin Teriwaja, urged the Apex Court to set aside the decision of the High Court. He insisted by relying on the correspondence, it meant the High Court used evidence not properly presented to it. The Attorney General disagreed. He first pointed out that even the processes filed was irregular in that Mr. Teriwaja swore an oath and signed the current processes filed at the Supreme Court without showing that he had the authority of the MP to do so. Additionally, he pointed out that the MP's legal team were given the chance to argue out the matter extensively and address the court and the correspondence. The Supreme Court ruled that the High Court committed no error of law. The Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono had earlier expressed concern regarding what she says is the conduct of the Asin North MP. She pointed out that despite filing court processes, he failed to show up more often than not and allows his lawyers to swear statements on his behalf. The Chief Justice said such conduct was irregular and should not be encouraged. On the trial of the minority leader Dr. Atoforsen, Court of Appeal Judge Efia Sewa Asaribotwe has been given a green light to continue handling the case. Businessman Richard Jakpa, who is standing trial alongside the minority leader, had petitioned the Chief Justice alleging the judge was biased. The Chief Justice dismissed the petition, but the minority leader's team has urged the judge to recuse herself, leveling their own allegations of bias. They say the judge had threatened to cause the arrest of their witnesses and close the leader's case should he fail to get witnesses to come to court. The Attorney General disagreed with this view and the court has set October 12 to deal with the matter.
That's live on Joy News Desk. Let's take a break. We'll bring you business.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
For crystal clear and thrilling podcasts and live shows, download and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, MyJoy Online, Amazon services like Echo, Amazon Music, and Audible, Stitcher, Adom Online, Overcast, and Pandora. Take note of everything. Sign up for the multimedia digital platforms now to stay updated.
The second clinic of the 2023 edition of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair promises to excite patrons in many ways. The West Hills Mall will host all relevant players in the housing and construction industry in Ghana from Friday 4th to Sunday 6th August 2023 from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. This year's exhibition is under the theme Home Ownership, Affordability, Comfort, or Luxury. Visit the clinic and engage the providers in the housing value chain on all your housing needs, be it financing, land acquisition, rent to own, outright purchase, roofing, lighting, electronic appliances, home security, or home furnishing. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is your one-stop shop for everything housing. To register as an exhibitor, please call 0244-260-653. There will be daily giveaways by the sponsors to visitors at the fair. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own, and sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited, where quality meets value. Syntex tanks, a strong, a tough. EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Affordability, comfort, or luxury.
Welcome back to Johnny's Desk. We can now go straight to the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, where there's occurring stakeholder engagement as part of efforts to reduce breast, liver, cervical cancers, which the GHS, the Ghana Medical Association, says have become the leading forms of cancers across Ghana. And keynote address being delivered by Professor Benedict Calistego. Let's listen to him.
Individual has no symptoms, nothing to show that they have any problem. The cancer is silently developing in the background, and the time is variable depending on the type of cancer and the person involved. This may go on for some time, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, up to years. And this is where screening programs come in very handy. In fact, there are some cancers that never produce any clinical manifestation, no sign whatsoever, and the person will die with the cancer rather than from the cancer. So that's the first stage. Then we have what we call the pre-diagnosis symptomatic phase. Here, there is onset of symptoms. People are beginning to experience all sorts of symptoms, and the symptom is dependent on what type of cancer they may have. The location of the tumor plays a very significant role. And this may either aid in early detection or, contrastingly, may delay the diagnosis due to lack of specific symptoms. Then we have the third stage, which is the diagnosis phase. Here, the diagnostic procedures may be straightforward or complicated. In some cases, you'd have to conduct several tests to identify the tumor and confirm its staging. Staging is an important crossroad because it determines the most appropriate type of treatment. And then obviously we would move to the next phase, which is the treatment phase. It is generally corresponds to the standardized stage of the cancer. So the stage of the cancer determines what sort of treatment you would receive. But it's an important crossroad because it is subject to potential complications or crisis that may be associated with the actual treatment or as part of the evolution of the disease. And then we have the maintenance phase, where the initial treatment is succeeded by a follow-up stage of varying stability. Here again, we may have crises which become evident through relapses, that is the appearance of the cancer or reappearance of the cancer following the treatment. Or may be the result of the treatment, which may be treatment-related complications. The crossroad after maintenance stage has two different pathways. People would either receive a cure or they move on to palliative care. If you receive a cure, then you are safe. If not, then we move on. Long-term survival, that's the next stage. So those who overcome the maintenance phase and receive cure have long-term survival. Although the cancer for which they receive the treatment is considered technically cured, they enter into a new chronic stage of life. And so cancer survivors subsequently have to deal with the after effects of the treatment. The long-term complication of these effects, and sometimes the risk of developing another tumor. For those who do not receive cure and move into palliation, active cancer treatment is always combined with elements of palliative care that are applied more intensely in the advanced stages of the disease. The natural history of cancer is thus characterized by long periods of varying stability with some intercurrent crisis and end-of-life stages that last for a few weeks, months, or even years. Mr. Chair, before we proceed any further, we would want to address a very important question. Our theme talks about the epidemic of cancers. So the question is, do we really have an epidemic of cancers, or it's just a hype? This is a difficult question to answer, considering the fact that we do not have very reliable data in our part of the world. But we would make an attempt. So if we look at an epidemic, it is generally defined as having cases in excess of what you expect for that place at that time. Do we have excess of cancers? Let me make reference to the Globocan report for 2010, which are estimates for Ghana. And it tells us that these are adjusted for all other things, including age. As at 2010, for every 100,000 Ghanaians, we have about 109 of them suffering from one cancer or the other. Fast forward to 2020, same Globocan estimates. Now that figure is about 125 for every 100,000 Ghanaians. So if we work with a population of 31 million, then we are looking at 38,750 new cases. These are estimates for new cases, not the total burden. So what it means is that every year we are having close to 40,000 new cancer cases, as opposed to 27,000 10 years ago. Do we have an epidemic or not? You be the judge. But I think the figures speak for themselves. On the face of the pink sheet, it is very obvious that we have a looming crisis on our hands. Now, to put the Ghanaian cancer situation in its proper context, let's look at some key figures about cancers as provided by the World Health Organization. So cancers are the second leading cause of death worldwide, accounting for nearly 10 million deaths every year, and these are figures from Globocon 2020. When you come to low and middle income countries where Ghana belongs, we tend to shoulder most of the cancer burden. So if you look at the 10 million deaths every year, 70% of them are in low and middle income countries. Now this disparity is even more striking in the case of cervical cancer, where 90% of new cases and deaths from this preventable cancer occur in low and middle income countries. The cancer incidence in sub-Saharan Africa is projected to increase by more than 92% between 2020 and 2040. So almost 100% increase. And some projections have even said that by that time we are more likely to have more cases of cancer than that of TB, malaria, and HIV pulled together. And if you think that these are the major problems we have, and we'll be having more cases of cancer, that's something that we need to really work on. And that is why this theme is very apt. If we look at the extent of the problem globally, the common cancers are breast, lung, colon, rectum, and prostate cancer. These are global figures. And if you look at the 2020 reports, there were over 2.2 million new cases of breast cancer worldwide. Lung cancer, 2.21, colon and rectum, 1.9 million, prostate, 1.4, skin, 1.2, and stomach, 1 million new cases of cancers. When it comes to death from cancers, lung cancer tops the list globally, 1.8 million, followed by the colon and rectum, 916,000, liver, 830, stomach, 769, and then breast, 685,000. You'd realize that at the global level, cervical cancer does not even feature in the list. But when we come closer home, it is one of our big problems. So let's get closer home and look at the cancer burden in Ghana. And here I'm looking at a 5-year prevalence. Breast cancer tops the list. For every 100,000 Ghanaians, about 66 of them would have breast cancer. So that brings it, if you work with 31 million, you are talking about over 20,000 breast cancer cases. Then it is followed by cervical cancer, which doesn't appear at the global level because it's a preventable disease. But we are still battling with it. And it's number 2. For every 100,000, we have about 39 people with cervical cancer. Then prostate cancer, followed by cancer of the ovary, and then that of the liver. So these are the overall 5-year prevalence. That's total burden. When we look at the new cases, again in the estimates we had 24,000 new cancer cases as per the 2020 report. And for our childhood cancers, on the average, we are having about 400 new cases annually. These are estimates, bear that in mind. And the common leading ones for the males, liver, prostate, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, colorectal, and then stomach. For the females, it's the breast, cervix, ovary, liver, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And for our children, it's the Wilms tumor, the retinoblastomas, the leukemias, and the lymphomas. These are the common problems we have. When we look at mortality from cancers, Globocon estimates that every year in Ghana we have about 15,000 people dying from cancers. And just in case you are having a difficulty visualizing 15,000, I'm sure we've all seen aeroplanes. And we all know what happens when we hear of a road traffic accident involving, let's say, a U-turn bus, and you are told everybody on board died. What's your reaction? Oh. Now, if you want to visualize 15,000, it's like having 25 Airbus 380 aircrafts, you know, the huge ones, Each of them carries on average 600 passengers. And it's like having 25 of them crashing with all passengers on board dying every year. So on average, we have 2 crashes every month. Just visualize that. How many deaths do we get from COVID? As at the end of March, it was about 1,400, less than 1,005. But I'm sure you all know the frantic measures we put in to deal with COVID. Why are we not making such noise about cancers? The answer is very simple. We are not angry enough. And why are we not angry enough? Because we don't have the information. Awareness creation is one of the big challenges that we have. So my aim this morning is to make you very angry by the time you leave here. Angry enough to make noise about cancers. Angry enough to be willing to go to development partners and make noise. Angry enough to prioritize it and move it from the back burner to the front bench for discussion. What are some of the risk factors? What are the causes of cancers? Cancers will generally arise from transformation of normal cells. Generally the body would replace cells that are wearing off and dying. Now, when this multiplication or replication goes wrong, then we can have cancer. So in that multi-stage process, changes can happen, things can go wrong, and we can have what we call precancerous lesions. And these will progress to become malignant tumors. These changes are usually the result of the interaction between a person's genetic factors and at least 3 categories of external agents. Now, these external agents are the physical cancer-causing agents, what we call carcinogens, such as ultraviolet and ionizing radiation. Then we can talk about the chemical carcinogens, components of tobacco smoke, alcohol, aflatoxins, which is a food contaminant, and arsenic, which is a water contaminant, and also asbestos. And then we can have the biological carcinogens, such as infections from certain viruses, bacteria, or other parasites. When we look at the exposure to radiation, it's much closer to us than before. Just looking around the room, I believe everybody has a cell phone or 2. Some are closely packed in our pockets. Others are in our breast pockets. In addition to our mobile phones, we have tablets. We have laptops, iPods, iPads, all sort of gadgets. To our mobile phones, we have tablets. We have laptops, iPods, iPads, all sort of gadgets, and cancer causation. However, current available evidence does not support this. That doesn't leave us off the hook. The reason being that emphasize, it's long been identified as a major risk factor for cancer. That doesn't leave us off the hook. The reason being that emphasize, it's long been identified as a major risk factor for cancer to cause cancers. And in this regard, the youth of today think that shisha is a way out. So let me burst your bubble. Also, the amount of aldehyde compounds, some of these carcinogens, carbon monoxide and tar, that is found in one shisha smoking session is 4 to 30 times more than in a single session of cigarette smoking. And these are potential carcinogens, making reference to the aldehyde, the carbon monoxide, and the tar. And they combine with other toxic substances. Let's talk about alcohol. Hello? Hi. Mr. Chair, anytime we talk about alcohol, there is controversy. Because people like the green bottle. People like it.